Welcome to 5 and 5 from One Stop Co-op Shop, where I talk about 5 key design decisions about a game in about 5 minutes. My name's Michael Kelly, and today I'll be talking about The Lord of the Rings: Journeys in Middle-earth. When I first played Arkham Horror, the card game, I thought it was pretty ingenious how Fantasy Flight took some of the best mechanics from the Lord of the Rings card game and ported them over to the Lovecraftian theme, while, in my opinion, making the game even better. Sorry, Colin and Steve. But now Fantasy Flight's done kind of the reverse, going from the core mechanics of Mansion of Madness 2nd Edition with app integration, and bringing a lot of those mechanics into Lord of the Rings: Journeys in Middle-earth. So is Journeys in Middle-earth like Arkham Horror the card game, cleaning up the rough spots and adding more narrative and gameplay? Let's find out and get to the list. Now first, let's talk about the app. I think the interface is super clean, I think things work very intuitively, and I love some of the little touches, like how the fog of war shows where the map is going to grow, making it so that when you add tiles, you suddenly have to keep the entire board from falling off the table. But the app hides stuff that, while it might add to the narrative experience, I find kind of frustrating. Like sometimes not telling you what you need to succeed at a test. Also, it does require just a little bit more button pushing and interacting than I would like. While it's pretty streamlined to keep track of the monsters in the app, entering every little piece of information and clicking the hit button multiple times to damage them can get a little annoying at times. Another mixed point for me is the campaign and the scenario design. On a positive note, the missions are pretty varied. And also, at least as much as I've played so far, it seems like replaying the same scenario, they'll randomize at least a few elements. On the negative side though, the gameplay can get a little samey, and sometimes just trying to track down another objective in another hidden cave can feel a little repetitive. Also, just to be frank, the story for this base campaign that comes with the game didn't inspire me that much. As a huge fan of The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, The Silmarillion, I expect huge epic events from my Lord of the Rings adventures. And this one just kind of felt sort of small. Random characters that you didn't really care about doing minor things. And next we get into a straight up con for me, and that's how the characters progress throughout the campaign. Every 3 or 4 missions, characters will get equipment upgrades, but these tend to be fairly minor, like doing 1 more damage or having 1 more status effect, or just having 1 more use of the item. Now the more consistent reward is experience and adding new action cards to your deck. But there's a twofold problem with this. First, the lower cost skill cards don't have success icons on them, so by adding them to your deck, you're actually lowering the chance of getting successes when you resolve tests. Secondly, in a way that's really similar to leveling up in Arkham Horror the card game, you might never see the card that you leveled up. It'll be stuck in your 16 or 17 or 18 card deck, and you only draw 2 or 3 cards a turn that you actually get to use for their special power. So it's entirely likely that the awesome card you bought will never have the chance to go off in the course of the game. Now with those mixed and negative points out of the way, let's get to why this game is awesome. The variety in the characters and the classes and the unique cards available to them is amazing. Playing as Gimli with his free attacks and incredible damage, being Bilbo and sneaking off by yourself to have adventures with spiders. It all feels really thematic to the characters and also makes the variety and replayability great because playing the exact same mission with a different character will give it a really different feel. And come on, you can play as Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn, the 3 hunters themselves. You have my sword, and my bow, and my axe. But the best thing about the game, bar none, is the card preparation system and how you resolve tests and the choices you have to make within that. The most impactful cards tend to also have success symbols on them, so by putting them in your preparation area, you're actually taking out some of the successes in your deck. It's a really great tactical give and take, not too challenging, quick to decide, but makes the game feel really exciting. I also like the use of inspiration tokens, changing a fate icon into a success, and the tough choices that presents to you. Overall, even though I have a few complaints with Journeys in Middle-earth, this game has been amazing, and I've been playing it almost non-stop. It's really accessible, the scenarios are just the right length, I can play a 2-player one in maybe 45 minutes or an hour, which is awesome. I even introduced it to my 6-year-old, with a little hand-holding of course, and it quickly became one of his favorites. He's been requesting it every day. So if the app integration doesn't scare you off, if you aren't looking for a true Lord of the Rings epic narrative, but just want a nice fantasy story, and if you don't mind some randomness in your card draws and which of your cool cards you get to actually use, I think this game is awesome and should really be checked out by anybody who's a fan of adventure games in general, and definitely all the Lord of the Rings fans out there. Good gaming everyone, and I'll see you at the next stop.